Good morning to you, our lovely viewer there out there. Thank you so much for finding time to join me on the Camnet TV breakfast show. Another exciting edition as I bring you those interesting things that are happening in our country. I'm your host, Miriam Kaimba, and today actually I am alone in studio, not with my usual co-host Patrick Soko. But anyway, I will be taking you for an hour or so where I'm going to be looking at various issues that are affecting our nation. Your viewers out there can take part in our conversation this morning by dropping us those messages if you're watching us live on Facebook page, and those who are watching me in the comfort of your home, please let's get interacted by you making that phone call as I get to look at some of the stories that made headlines in our news yesterday. I hope you're having a positive Tuesday indeed. I just can't, start my day without mentioning the word positivity, for I know that, positivity helps you to get yourself running for the day and just gives you that mentality that, you can achieve your goals that you have set on that particular day. But right about now, let's just get direct into our health corner and just see what the doctors have for us this morning.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakomia Namfaya. So this week we are talking about asthma. Yesterday we say that asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease that affects the airways or the lungs, and it usually comes about because of a hyperresponsiveness that occurs in your airways that results in an obstruction in the airways and also excess mucus production. This can lead to somebody having wheezing and also just not being able to breathe well. So there'll be less air going to the lungs and reaching the lungs. And today we'll talk about some of the triggers of asthma. What really triggers asthma? So there are so many triggers that can trigger asthma. They can be environmental triggers such as smoking, somebody who inhales smoke, whether it's from somebody else smoking a cigarette or it's just smoke in the environment. It can trigger an asthmatic attack. It can also be triggered by dust in the environment, pollen from plants in the environment, pets as well. So if you keep any pets in the house, they can easily cause an asthmatic attack in somebody who has asthma. So make sure that your pets are well cleaned to avoid getting an asthmatic attack from the pets. Even the fur from the pets can also cause an asthmatic attack. Other triggers of asthma are that people who work in certain places where they're exposed to certain irritants or certain allergens. So people who work in mines, people who are painters, people who paint, people who build houses, were exposed to so much dust. Plumbers, they're also exposed to all this dust. And these are people who can easily get asthma because of their exposure to their work environments. So it's important for these people that who work in such places to wear masks all the time, that when they are doing their work, to avoid excess exposure to whether it's dust or paint or just the pollutants in the environment that they're exposed to. Then the other thing that can trigger asthma is that people who are allergic to certain medications, such as aspirin, they can also present with asthma. So they can, if you're allergic to aspirin or certain painkillers like Brufen, they can it can result to you having asthma if you take those medications that you're allergic to, because your body would definitely overreact if you take such a medication, and so your body will be responding to that, and it can result in you having an obstruction in your airways, which can lead to you having asthma. So apart from that, exposure to cold air. So we're getting into the cold season, and it will be so cold, so people who have asthma can easily get an asthmatic attack. And if you don't already have asthma, if you don't know that you already have asthma and you become allergic, maybe the cold is too much, and you start having a hyperresponsiveness in your airway, then you might end up getting or having symptoms of asthma. Then the other thing is that people who exercise, so if you exercise, sometimes it can lead to you having an asthmatic attack, especially if you already have asthma. So exercise can trigger asthma, and also people who exposed to cold air, like I have mentioned, can also have asthma. So these are some of the triggers of asthma, and you need to be aware of them and try to protect yourself and prevent yourself from getting an asthmatic attack or from having asthma. The other thing is that in the cold season, usually we have a lot of respiratory conditions or illnesses. So any illness that can affect the respiratory system, especially the upper respiratory system. So it can be a flu, a cold, tonsillitis. All these can also trigger asthma. So it's important that you protect yourself from getting these infections so that you don't have an asthmatic attack. So I do hope you have learned something today. Make sure you share with your friends, and also don't forget to watch again tomorrow when we'll talk about some of the signs and symptoms of asthma, so that you can be able to recognize them and get help at the hospital as quickly as possible. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook at Dr. Nakubianamfire, and if you need to watch the other videos, you can watch them on my YouTube channel at Dr. Nakubianamfire. I'll see you again next time. Stay blessed and stay healthy.
I hope we were able to get one or two lessons there where the doctors was talking about the triggers of asthma. I hope you did learn one or two things there. But anyway, right about now, let's get direct into our money market. So we have the United States dollar there buying at 23 kwacha for 1 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 87 ngwe. We have the Great British Pound there buying at 29 kwacha 55 ngwe and selling at 30 kwacha 13 ngwe. We have the Euro there buying at 25 kwacha 60 ngwe and selling at 26 kwacha 11 ngwe. We have the South African Rand there buying at 1 kwacha 25 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 28 ngwe. That is our money market for today, the 28th of November 2023. As of at 0724, we have seen that only few cents are remaining for the dollar for us to start buying it at 24 kwacha. Yeah, only few cents remaining. But anyway, this has forever, remained, or rather continued to remain, a source of concern, because if we see it trending in those lines, we have had various people, stakeholders, residents, and just complaining about how this is affecting the prices of commodities. Like just a reminder to our viewers that we have now officially opened our phone lines. You, our viewer out there who is watching us in the comfort of your home, home. Please, let's get interacted. What are some of the challenges that are affecting your community? We are in the rain season, and we know that during this season we have issues like floods because of lack of drainages in our various localities. What are your civic leaders doing to address these kind of problems? You, our viewers out there, can take part in this conversation and give me a call and tell me some of the challenges other than floods. What are other challenges that you are experiencing in your areas and you would like to see your various, or rather respective, area members of parliament as well as councillors to come on board and address? Exactly. Just moving forward, let's get to zoom in some of the stories that made headlines in our main news. Yesterday, we did see a political researcher who has called on the government to desist from allegedly championing the arrest of opposition politicians in the country on trivial matters. Dr. Kefas Mukuka says perpetuating such actions has the potential to erode the country's good governance style. He has also challenged the government to speed up the investigation of the alleged shooting of a 15-year-old boy in Kakoya, I beg your pardon, Kakoya, and compensate the family. Let's get to look at that story.
The ruling United Party for National Development UPND was ushered into power on the basis of restoring the rule of law and promoting peace, unity and love in the country. In recent weeks, a list of opposition leaders have been arrested on different charges, but a political researcher, Dr. Kefas Mukuka, has observed that the government needs to be realistic when effecting arrests on political opponents. Dr. Mukuka observes that when arrests are made, citizens should be able to sympathize with the government and allegations must be of serious nature. His remarks follows the arrest of former Lusaka Province Minister Bowman Lusambo and others on 23 November 2023 in Kabwe on the alleged offense of unlawful assembly.
It becomes a great concern when these players who are supposed to help in cleaning up our democracy, once in a while or frequently, they become victim of the state. I think that is not helping matters. When these players were involved in checks and balances are taken to the police, and it should be on very serious grounds, so that even members of the public are going to sympathize with the state, okay, as it were. Now, in most cases, it is the other way around. So that now is also helping to erode our democracy. It is also helping to wipe away our democracy.
Meanwhile, Dr. Mukuka has challenged the government to speed up the investigation of the alleged shooting of a 15-year-old boy in Kankoyo area in Mufulira by an alleged Zambia National Service officer, and demands that the family be compensated.
Wasting time, I want to push on record that the government should go ahead and compensate the two families. This is not to say that life can be equipped. This is not to say that life can be at the same level with money, but at this time like this is the thing which government has to do, to show remorse to the members of the public, to also show remorse to the affected families.
While these allegations arise, what is the stance of the government?
As long as we remain in government, I hear a lot of my opposition colleagues threatening me that, oh, we'll throw you off. I'm scared of those things. I didn't come to worry about being thrown out. I came to save. I came to do what should be done.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
That is Dr. Kefas Mukuka, who is urging the government not to trivialize the arrest of opposition political members, or rather leaders in the country. We have seen that for quite some time, various opposition political leaders have continued to cry foul over these arrests that have been made against them. Some of them have alleged that, government is, they have called, or rather alleged that this is just a witch hunt, not for them, or rather to not for them to concentrate on their parties. Others have alleged that, government is trying, to put on these issues just to bring confusion within their respective various political parties. But we have seen that on several occasions, government has come on board to ensure, or rather, clarify this and say that, we need a strong opposition political party in power that is going to offer the necessary checks and balance to us, the current administration, so as we continue, to give our mandate, or rather do our duty to the respective citizens of Zambia. Moving on, let's get to look at a story where the residents of Lusaka's Kanyama Masauko Banda have bemoaned the lack of development in the area, characterized by poor road and an increase in crime rate. Speaking in separate interviews with Camnet TV, the resident also complained about the failure to acquire various empowerment programs, including social class transfer. One of the marketeers at Masauko Banda, Prudence Musami, says the area becomes impassable during the rain season, making it difficult to seek medical attention at the nearby health post. Let's get to look at that story.
Some residents of Lusaka's Kanyama Masauko Banda area have lamented over the lack of development in the area. In separate interviews, the residents have explained that the road and drainage network has remained underdeveloped since time immemorial. One of the affected residents, Prudence Musama, says she's unable to conduct her business in the rain season due to floods, as well as cannot access the nearby health post.
Yes, Lord, and for the crane be there. When the ambulance come, sometimes keep time over there instead of coming here because the road is not safe. The way the lane has come like this, we should make sure as women are sitting with the gumboots on our head.
Other residents have disclosed that there is lack of security in the area and called on authorities to construct a police post.
So if the police can be involved, start patrolling in this area, so the crime rates can even go down. Also the roads during the seasons, we can't even access these roads. We access them here because there's no rain. But once the rain has started, we can't even access these roads. We can't even stand here. So
to the peace, but can economic fight au gofi ashifyama CDF afu mfwe monte tetu bakwanishe bonse Zambia bonse CDF ineneka apali nawe ine nanda tunakwanje kwa abantu bashikwanisha kwa abantu bashikwanisha abantu bonse kwa bozi bonse sikwanishe finshonse feve fyaba face stable so that umuntu wonse kunkwa kwanisha ngitaka bungana 15 pini than 1 quarter and 5 quarter mfutule fwa kufe.
This came to light when United Party for National Development UPND member when Achombo toured the area Saturday morning.
Okay. Information gap between us and them, especially on the many empowerment that we have. We've heard that a lot of people are not aware of CDF, where they can benefit from the CDF. That is a major concern. That is a major concern, and I send a challenge to my colleagues in government. They need to pull up the story. Let them come back to the people. Come back and interview the people. Come and get the problems that these people are facing. Roads, drainages, concern.
Kanyama Member of Parliament Moti Chinkuli is however on a record promising to focus on road and drainage works as well as deployment of police officers in the 2024 Constituency Development Fund CDF implementation.
No, UPND, but now CDF. CEC.
These are government grants that we must all benefit ourselves.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Those continue to remain a concern. Some of the concerns that people, or rather the residents of Lusaka's Kanyama compound, have continued to air out to their respective leaders, we have seen that a lot of people are not aware of various empowerment funds that they can tap in. Amongst them, the CDF. Others do not have knowledge on how to do or where to go for them to access these CDFs, and how rather to form these cooperatives. We have seen that, people have continued to complain that there is a huge information gap, and there's need for more sensitization so that various people can benefit from these various empowerment programs that have been put forth by government. Are you also facing a similar challenge in your various constituencies? Please do get in touch with me and, just contribute. We want to hear some of the problems that are affecting you as a resident in your various respective constituencies. Are you also facing the same challenges as the people of Kanyama in terms of, poor, bad roads, poor roads, the floods, lack of drainages, and also are you also finding it a challenge for you to, to tap in from these various empowerment funds that government has put forth? Are you also experiencing the same? Please do get in touch with me. Those who are watching us live on Facebook, drop me that message. I'll be able to interact. Let us get interacted. Those watching me in the comfort of your home, please do call me and let us get interacted. What are some of the challenges as a community you are facing in your locality? I know that we are now, not that we are heading, but we are now in the rain season, and we have seen that, most of the time as a country, when we head toward the rain season, the challenges that we experience most of the times are flood. Are you experiencing the same things in your areas? Have you rather seen your various respective area members of parliament as well as councillors, putting up those drainages to ensure that, the challenges that you were facing previously of floods, you are not facing them anymore? Is that the situation? Has the situation changed, or it is still the same? Talking about that, let us get to look at a story where some residents in Lusaka's Mutendere East have bemoaned the poor workmanship of the Zambia National Service, ZNS, on Salama Bridge, which is already blocked before the rain intensify. The residents have accused ZNS and the council of working in isolation, leading works that have left their houses at risk of collapse as water is not flowing as before. Let us get to look at that story.
Barely days after residents of Lusaka's Kabanana complained over the work of ZNS on a bridge which has left them in risk of flash floods, residents of Lusaka's Mutendere East have cried foul over a similar matter. According to residents, ZNS installed culverts on this bridge which are small, leaving the infrastructure blocked on the onset of the rains and diverting water into their homes.
Chifika bakaichosa ichakaveti ilipa jamanzi ya zambo pita buli mwamene yenzo pitila beta bama motoka bazambo yembekeza manzi ya pita dani mwamene yankali la bonani ukubamba manje chifukwa cha kuti bachingilize ukumanzi ya saziyendi yaenda manzi yonse mvula yenzo loka yaenda so konse
fuka space ikulu vakuti olovose vipita mu munyansi munja vienda manzi akapushinga uchoka kumwamba kuja vapita vaenda ngati iva ngapa so ichisaka yo blocking apacha but ni mvula ya first ikapofika rain season hapa so tikamba sofa manje hapa so tunakulinga kudala pale ndana za bofu fakulu bawe azeze sazabela pa fakulu hapa.
What Development Committee Vice Chairperson Vixon Mwemba says efforts to engage ZNS during the construction of the project proved futile, resulting in the poor workmanship.
Even engineering wa council even by engineering wa ZNS wana wanaposebenza inabauza utayama culverts ya chepa boss ndiye nenzo pesa kama nini pa ground pano pamoja na makanza nabaza tuma culverts ya chepa.
Area Councillor Shadrack Mwanza has described the work on the bridge as waste of taxpayers' money, resulting from lack of consulting local leadership.
They have never involved me. They have never informed me when they are coming to work in my ward. They will just come. There will be no communication. They will be putting pipes, small pipes. We are the ones that understand the problems. We know the flow of water. ZNS and the council, they don't stay in the community. But what they did, even after complaining, even after several complaints that were raised by the members of the community, they were not ready to listen. They went ahead and put small pipe. This is putting the government money, CDF money, which belongs to the people, to waste.
It is therefore hoped that the looming calamity here will be prevented as soon as possible, and going forward, residents will be included in planning and execution to avoid wastage of public resources in such a manner. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Quite interesting views there from Kalikiliki Ward Councillor there, Shadrick Mwanza, who is complaining that they have been working in isolation with the Zambia National Service as well as the council. Do we see that, helping the community in terms when it comes to addressing issues that are affecting the various people in the various respective communities? Should local authorities work in isolation to address the issues that are affecting the people? This is a question that I'm asking you people out there who are watching us in the comfort of your home, and those watching me live on Facebook. Please let us get interacted. What are some of the things that you would like your various respective civic leaders to address in your communities? What are some of the challenges that you are facing? I know that during this time, this is the rain season we are talking about. We are heading toward the rain season, and during this time, we have issues like floods. We did see last year that the people of Kamwala, in fact, even early this year in January, we did see that the people of Kamwala were affected with floods, where others were even forced to shift from their various respective homes. But is the situation the same? Have we seen the various leaders coming on board on the ground to ensure that drainages are put in place so that people do not experience or face the same challenges that they were facing before? Please let us get interacted. What are those pertinent questions that you'd like your various leaders to address? We are aware that most of the times we would see our various respective leaders coming to us toward the elections period. Yeah, no, but when you give them that vote, you'll find that they go quiet without addressing some of the issues that you would like them to to talk about, or rather address. So it is your time out there, to ensure that you do these checks and balances to your various leaders. Not keep quiet. And when we talk about offering these checks and balances, it's not the duty of the opposition leaders. You out there as a citizen, you have a duty also to provide these checks and balances to your respective leaders. In case they are not doing something that they promised you, you have the duty and the mandate to ensure that you call upon them and ask them why they have not addressed this issue that they promised, to address the time they were seeking to get your vote out there. Let us also look at another story where parliamentarian on persons with disabilities chairperson Joseph Musanje says parliamentarians must be educated about disability issues and rights to ensure inclusivity in society. Speaking on the sidelines of Zafford and GBM meeting with parliamentarians, Mr. Musanje says lawmakers have a huge role in ending the inclusion of persons with disabilities in terms of accessibility issues and political participation. Let us get to look at that story and we'll be right back. But just a reminder that let us keep those calls coming. Let us keep interacted. What are some of the pertinent issues that you would like your various opposition leaders, civic leaders rather, to address in your various communities? Are you also not aware of various empowerment funds that are happening in your community? Are you also not aware about the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF, how to go about it, how to form a cooperative? Do you think there has been less sensitization on this issue regarding the Constituency Development Fund? Do you feel that there's need, for your various leaders in the community to do a community sensitization to ensure that, various people have the knowledge of where to go, what to do when accessing these various empowerment funds, and also including the social cash transfer? Are you aware about this information? Please let us keep those calls, those messages coming. Let us get interacted. It's a positive Tuesday. Yeah, let us get interacted as we go about doing our day-to-day activities. But right about now, let's get to look at that story addressing issues affecting persons with disabilities.
The Zambia Federation of Disability Organizations, ZAFOD, and Christian Blind Mission, CBM, has held their inaugural meeting with the Parliamentarian Caucus on Disability Inclusion and Rights. The meeting was aimed at orienting members of Parliament on how to ensure inclusion of persons with disabilities in policy and decision-making in their daily. ZAFOD Executive Director Justin Bakari notes that there is still more to be done in ending all forms of discrimination against persons with disability in society.
There is nothing that they can contribute. They are usually looked as patients instead of people that can also make a contribution. And this is the more reason why you find that actually the cost for social protection in this country is very high. But we need to move away from that. We need to change that scenario so that persons with disabilities can also be able to contribute to national development. And they should not be looked as objects of charity, but objects of engagement.
Caucus Chairperson Joseph Munsanje, who is also Mbabara Member of Parliament, says all 88 members of the group will be oriented on disability rights, and the meeting was part of the process.
We would like to ensure that when members of Parliament are interrogating the various line ministries and government agencies, they are checking that issues of disabilities are taken care of. For example, we've got roads, we've got RATSA, we've got RDA, and all these other agencies. They design bridges, they design roads, and the like. These must be always thinking about persons with disabilities in the delivery. Right now, CDF, there's construction of so many buildings, classrooms, clinics, and the like. They must all have disability-friendly features.
Meanwhile, speaking earlier when he addressed the gathering, Parliamentarian Caucus on Disability Inclusion and Rights co-chairperson Nixon Chirangwa urged organizations fighting for inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics to start their work way ahead of 2026 if meaningful results are to be attained.
And they need to be supported right now. If the cooperating partners who are interested in helping will only come in 2026, it will be too late. It won't be of much help at all. We need to identify and start working with those colleagues right now.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Ensuring inclusivity for persons with disabilities. We have seen there that various parliamentarians are calling that as we, put up these infrastructures, we should ensure that, it is user-friendly to persons with disabilities so that they do not also find challenges as they go running their day-to-day activities. Anyway, just let us get interacted with some of our viewers who are watching us live on Facebook. We have Nakonde Boy, who says our MP, if is addressing what we are facing in our constituencies, they always stop him, order. It is not fair. Let him speak out for us. Okay, wow. I guess this is in Parliament when he wants to talk about various issues that are affecting persons. Various residents in Nakonde there. He is raising concerns, Nakonde Boy, that, our MP, he's never given the chance to speak out about our challenges that we are facing in our constituencies. Hence, he needs to be given out that chance for him to speak on our behalf. We also have Kingsley Majila, who says, good morning, madam. How are you doing today? You are alone, how keep up good work. Blessings you all the time from Mazabuka, Sweetest Town. We thank you so much, Majila. You have been our all-weather time friendly person, our top Camnet viewer who continues, to watch the Camnet TV Breakfast Show all the time and ensure that you don't miss. We also have Mwansa Elijah, who's also following up this program. I do acknowledge you. We do acknowledge your contribution to our program this morning. Just a reminder that this program is particularly brought for you. It is not for me, it is for you, our viewers. We are giving you this platform to ensure that you talk about those various pertinent issues that are affecting your various communities, and what are some of the issues that you would like to see your respective, or rather area councillors, talking about, or rather addressing in your constituencies. We are aware that most of the times we do complain as citizens. We sit and complain, no vacancy summa bwerako pameti kaona at my election yankara pafupi mufuna kuvote nje pamemuza bwera. No. This is a time for you to speak out and call upon your various respective civic leaders, the area councillors, the members of parliament, affecting in your various respective constituencies. Please do get in touch with me. Let us get interacted. Are you also aware about the various empowerment funds that are going on, or rather that government is giving in your various respective constituencies? Talking about one of them, which is the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, we have been told that government has on several occasions, urged various citizens to tap in from the Constituency Development Fund and ensure that they empower themselves by forming these cooperatives. But the question still remains, are you aware about this information? Do you know how to go about, how to form these same cooperatives? And if you do so, do you even understand the process that you need to take just for you to acquire this same Constituency Development Fund? So these are some of the questions that I'm asking you this morning. Please let us get interacted. This program is for you, our viewers there. The more we get interacted, the more we'll be addressing some of the issues that are affecting our communities. We are also aware that when we talk about issues that are affecting our communities, one of them is high crime rates. We have seen that the police on various occasions, conducted these operations where they have arrested junkies in our various compounds. One of them is Mutendere. We have also seen that these arrests have also been made in Chawama compound, where young people referred to as junkies, but rather junkies is not a very good name to refer to someone, but these are young people coming in from our various respective constituencies, where we have seen that the police have continued to do these cleanups to ensure that we are not facing the same high crime rates that we were facing before. So what is the current situation in your constituencies? Are we seeing the police doing the day-to-day patrols, or the situation has gone back as it was before, where these young people were attacking various people? We also did see these complaints coming from Garden House, where various people were complaining that even during the daytime, they would be attacked by these young people called junkies. During the daytime, they would be robbed without getting any help from various members, because they are also afraid that once they come on board to try to help you, they'll also be attacked. But these are some of the things that we should continue to address. These are issues that are affecting our communities, and have we seen our various respective civic leaders coming on board to address these issues? We have certain areas that do not have police posts, other areas do not have health posts, but how are these issues being addressed? We are aware that people get sick and would want to go to a nearby clinic, but because of lack of health posts in these various localities, you'll find that people are finding it hard to access these health care services. So what are your various respective councillors or members of parliament doing to address these issues that you are affecting? And now let's get to move to another story, where an economist, Emmanuel Zulu, has noted that parliamentarian oversight on public debt acquisition remains limited despite the enactment of the Public Debt Management Act. The Act mandates Parliament to approve all public debt before acquisition. Mr. Zulu notes parliamentarians cannot disapprove of the public annual borrowing plan as presented in the national budget, as it is influenced by partisan members, as well as constitutional time frame. Let us get to look at that story, and we'll come back and interact. I want to get those concerns that you are facing in your various communities. I know they are way beyond. Apart from floods, apart from poor roads, they are way beyond. Apart from you not understanding how to access these CDFs, I know that there are a lot of things that are happening in your various respective constituencies, and you would like your civic leaders to come on board and address these issues, especially the issue of floods now that we're in the rainy season. What are some of the things that you would like your respective councillors, area members of parliament to address, so that, you know, come January 2024, you do not experience the same situation as the people of Kamwala South did face earlier this year and last year, when they were even forced, you know, to shift from their respective homes due to floodings. Anyway, but let us get to look at this story. We'll be right back.
A Lusaka-based economist has called for more powers to enable parliamentarians to play their oversight role in public debt acquisition. Zambia recently enacted the Public Debt Management Act 2022, aimed at ensuring that all debt acquired by government is approved by Parliament. Speaking during a public lecture on role of parliamentarians on debt oversight in Zambia, organized by CATS, Mr. Zulu has argued that limitations over public debt accountability is still a challenge.
But for our case, I think that we have no room for that. They'll just ask for your opinions. What should we do? Should we approve? So the biggest question is, what would happen if the Parliament does not agree to approve the annual borrowing plan, or they vote against the annual borrowing plan? Someone said that is voting against the entire budget, meaning the Minister of Finance will have to go back and draw up another budget, and it will be catastrophic.
Speaking on the sidelines of the lecture, CATS board member Sajiv Nair said debt burden and acquisition affects everyone, hence the need for public dialogue on the matter.
It's about the finance. And this meeting is more of a public discussion to educate, to enhance debate on Zambia's public debt. We have university students, we have the practitioners, we have civil society, and we have media, and all those institutions come together to discuss a solution part of Zambia's debt crisis.
Meanwhile, some participants shared their thoughts on the public lecture and solutions around the matter.
Want to know more about our border debt and how we can improvise in ensuring that we do not go an extra mile to go and do another border.
That people actually come through and are part of this discussion because they are actually party to the debt framework in itself. So it's important that people through representatives participate, and discussions like this bring the debt issue to light. You know,
with Zambia owing about $14 billion, the role of parliamentarians in debt oversight cannot be overstated, hence the need for such discussions to be replicated. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
If development begins in a community, then the statement is true when it comes to managing the country's natural resources. The Zambia Community-Based Resource Management Forum has been playing a pivotal role in the management of resources in the country. Speaking during the 7th Community-Based Natural Resources Management Conference, organization chairperson Dr. Rogers Lubilo implored the Ministry of Tourism to expedite the process of launching the Community-Based Natural Resources Management Policy.
But circumstances beyond our control have not made it possible. We are expectant of this policy, and we hope the government will not delay this process any further. As we need this policy guidance going forward, we extend our call to those responsible for urging the government through the Ministry of Tourism to carry out their due mandate and give the people of Zambia the national citizen policy as soon as possible.
Dr. Lubilo stressed the need to tackle human-animal conflict by making sure that those affected are compensated by the government and ensure that communities benefit from carbon trading.
We take note of the increased human wildlife incidences in our communities, the loss of lives and property, causing severe pain in our people. This problem is big and cannot be under-discussed. We take this strong view and position that the government, through the Department of National Parks and Wildlife and the Ministry of Tourism, should immediately embark on a nationwide consultation to come up with a national policy and legislation to start providing compensation for the people that are affected with these losses. This is important as we risk having more habitats being destroyed, more wildlife habitat being destroyed, as a way of chasing the wildlife from the community areas.
Meanwhile, Community Resources Board Association President George Tembo underscored the need to expedite the process of issuing hunting licenses.
A number of achievements. For instance, one of the most difficult matters that has affected our country, especially our local communities where we come from, the issue to do with the hunting fraternity, out of engagements, and a number of recommendations we did. I also wish to echo what my colleagues mentioned. We do not have any issue with government at the moment.
The theme for this year's conference is promoting transparency, accountability, and inclusive leadership in natural resources management. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Quite interesting story there. You are still watching the Camnet TV Breakfast Show with your host Miriam Kaimba. And of course, today I'm alone in studio. Some might be wondering after just tuning in to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show, where's Patrick Soko or Nelson, who I usually share the set with. But anyway, today I am alone. I'm trying to keep it positive for you, my viewers out there, so that we get to enjoy this vibe of positivity as we get to address some of the challenges that are affecting our various communities. Let us get interacted with some of our viewers. On Facebook, we have Kakoma, who says, good morning from Mine Masala. The president means well to increase CDF, but the problem is with some MPs, councillors, and WDC. We have, some of those concerns coming all the way from Mansala, where, they have expressed concern that, the president means well for this constituency development fund, but the challenge has continued to remain with our various area members of parliament, the WDC, as well as the councillors. Like the question I was asking before, do you rather feel that your respective civic leaders in these communities are addressing some of the issues that you are facing? Are they also, informing you, sensitizing you on various empowerment funds that you can tap in to ensure that, you uplift your livelihood? We have seen that, various empowerment funds have been put forth by the government, such as the Constituency Development Fund, where we have seen that apart from, developing the constituencies, there's a component where various, members of that respective constituencies can tap in by forming cooperatives and ensure that they come up with something that they can help to improve their lives. But do you have that necessary information and the process on how to go about on these, just for you to access these various empowerment funds? Among them, social cash transfer, which we have seen that it is, benefiting or rather helping the vulnerable in communities, as well as the old age and persons with disabilities. Now, moving on, let's get to see some of the stories again that made the headlines in our court news yesterday, where we did see an herbalist from Lusaka's Jack compound who testified before the Lusaka Magistrate Court how she was threatened at gunpoint to sign off her properties at the residence of the former First Lady Esther Lungu. Let's get to look at that story that made headlines in the courts yesterday, where the former First Lady was appearing before court with 4 others. This is in relation to a matter where she is accused of theft and also, theft, among other charges, theft of 3 motor vehicles and also of a certificate of title deed against this herbalist who testified yesterday in court. Trial did commence yesterday, and apparently the matter has been adjourned to next year in January 2024, where the former First Lady is expected to appear and for a next hearing in this matter. So far, the prosecution team has presented one witness before the courts, and the court is still hearing this witness testimony. Let us get to look at the story, and we'll be back. In a gripping courtroom drama Monday, a witness took the stand to testify about a horrific incident in which she was allegedly threatened at gunpoint to transfer her property into someone else's name. Earlier this morning, the 27th of November 2023, amid tense courtroom proceedings, Elizabeth Phiri recounted the terrific ordeal she allegedly experienced at the residence of the former First Lady Esther Lungu in Lusaka's Ibex Hill area. According to the witness testimony, she was allegedly confronted by the former First Lady, who made a sign over the ownership of her property under intimidation. Phiri, an herbalist of Lusaka's Jack compound, was testifying in a matter where the former First Lady and 4 others are accused of stealing 3 motor vehicles and a certificate of title for a property located in Libala. Allegations which they have pleaded not guilty to before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court. Evidence adduced in court by the herbalist was that sometime in 2020, she was approached by the 5th accused person, Catherine Banda, who is said to be the niece of the former First Lady, who went to seek for assistance from her. The 5th accused person wanted traditional medicine in order for her to have a child and find a man to marry her. The witness narrated that after assisting and seeing that the medicine worked on the accused, the 5th accused requested her to become a mother. She testified that the accused had told her that she was a double orphan who neither had a relative. She also requested to know her children. The Lusaka's Magistrate Court has further held, after the two knew each other for quite some time, the 5th accused person had at one point requested the witness to escort her to her auntie's place. Upon their arrival, after a few minutes, officers were called on them. The witness testified that she was allegedly beaten and threatened at gunpoint by 2 officers found at the residence of the former First Lady and demanded that she give them a parcel. But when she told them that she had no idea of what they were saying, she was driven to Ibex Hill, where the former First Lady also insisted that she retains the $400,000 United States dollars that Catherine Banda, the 5th accused person, had given her. The witness told court that despite emphasizing that she was not given, the former First Lady insisted that she had the money because the 5th accused, Catherine Banda, had told her that she gave the money to her. The witness further testified that she told the first accused, the former First Lady, that she was not aware about the same monies. The former First Lady insisted and allegedly ordered that her canter and 2 of her daughter's motor vehicles, including a plot she had bought at a price of over 1 million kwacha in the Libala area, be transferred to the former First Lady because she could not lose her money in such a manner. In this matter, the former First Lady, Esther Lungu, is jointly charged with James Phiri, a police officer, Lee Chisulu, a police officer, Kapambwe Lungu, a driver, and Catherine Banda. The former First Lady, along 4 others, were arrested on the 6th of September 2023. The charges against them include theft of motor vehicles, theft of property of certificate. The matter has been adjourned to January 2024. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News. So that is what transpired yesterday before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court, when the former First Lady, Madam Esther Lungu, appeared in court in conjunction with 4 others who are facing theft allegations before Magistrate Simvula. It is quite an interesting, case, and we have seen that the matter has been adjourned to next year, where the state will, brought forth other witnesses to testify in the matter. Moving on, we also did see a story where the government has agreed to compensate Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Tayali with 450,000 kwacha for the trauma he experienced after police officers wrongly assaulted him while he escorted President Hakainde Hichilema at Force headquarters in 2020. This is in a matter in which the cabinet minister sued the state in the Lusaka High Court and cited the Attorney General as the respondent. He had submitted in his previous statement of claim that he was physically assaulted by an overzealous police officer who pointed an AK-47 at his head when he accompanied the president. When the president was then UPND opposition. Seen that, you know, the Attorney General has now agreed that they are going to compensate the reliefs that the Minister of Transport and Logistics is currently, you know, seeking. But anyway, moving on, let us go all the way to Choma, where in Southern Province, where we have seen that Choma district has continued witnessing lower groundwater levels owing to human-related activities threatening its sources, thereby causing food insecurity. This has sent farmers into panic as they attribute the trend to poor methods of farming, which they feel need quick intervention to sustain groundwater amid a drought condition. Let us get to look at that story.
Choma, a drought-prone district in southern Zambia, faces a looming groundwater shortage attributed to adverse effects of climate change. The district, whose economy is highly dependent on farming, has also seen an increase in population, leading to high demand for water after it was declared a provincial capital some years back. However, poor groundwater management as a result of indiscriminate drilling of boreholes has badly affected the water recharge table, leaving farmers whose crops depend on irrigation in panic mode, posing a threat to food security. Genius Musogotwane is the executive director of the child rights advocacy organization Musogotwane Compassionate Mission, which uses the agricultural-driven concepts to sustain efforts in ending child marriages.
And even when you've drilled 120 meters deep for groundwater, you would find that chances of getting a higher yield of water are slim. And this calls for sensitive and climate smart initiatives around our activities as we do our activities in our farms, so that at the end of the day we preserve groundwater and also we reduce the chances of food insecurity. We need to use methods of water harvest so that at the end of the day groundwater will only be used like in a period where we have such kind of a situation where we are now experiencing El Nino.
Borehole drilling firms, which have been at the center of drilling boreholes or water wells without being regulated or monitored through licensing, are also sweating in siting water as the precious liquid has gone down further, about 150 meters deep. Duncan Banda is a vegetable and fruit farmer affiliated to the Zambia National Farmers Union, ZNFU, and survives from selling his crops in Choma and neighboring Kaloma district. He is concerned about the poor methods of farming by his colleagues in the sector.
What other methods apart from this farming field crops can I do for me to survive? So the best is to get organized and join organizations that can give you information, so that as you stay at the farm or anywhere where you may be, you could have an informed decision.
To help reverse the looming water crisis, the Federal Institute of Geosciences and Natural Resources, BGR, which cooperates with the Ministry of Water and Sanitation through the Joint Project Water Resources Management Support Program, embarked on the implementation of the newly established Water Resources Management Authority WAMA for the development of groundwater management plans. Douglas Lubaba is WAMA's senior research officer and shares some of the benefits realized through partnering with the German Development Corporation in protecting groundwater resources in Joma and other parts of the country.
In areas somewhere in Monze, in Choma, because in these areas, communities have felt the impact of degraded forest because they have lost water, the streams and rivers have dried up, the groundwater has gone low. It's difficult, and this, we are talking about a people who are reliant on herding cattle. So because of overgrazing, so it has caused a lot of soil erosion, which has gone into streams, barren streams. So working with GIZ, they are working with communities where we are trying to restore part of these degraded catchment areas.
Wallace Shawa is Director Operations at the Southern Water and Sanitation Company, SWASCO, one of the implementing agencies in safeguarding groundwater resources through working with various stakeholders.
You may wish to know that the groundwater resource was mapped in 2007 under a project called Groundwater for Southern Province. So here in Choma, it's very difficult to find groundwater. But with a project that is being spearheaded by BGR, is to try and identify a well field. The other thing is that Southern Province in general is quite prone to droughts.
A tool for groundwater resource management in Southern Province and Zambia has been placed in the hands of water resource managers, academics, politicians, water users and other interest groups. But what remains is the challenge to put it to use and help to achieve the national goal of economic growth and poverty eradication through sustainable development and management of groundwater in the country. Elias Limonia reporting in Choma District.
Quite interesting story there from Choma. We have seen that efforts are being made to ensure that this issue is adequately addressed. But anyway, moving forward, our viewers, I wanted to say moving forward, we'll take a short break. But anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. I was your host, Miriam Kayemba. Yep. Apparently, I have to say goodbye and excuse the screens of Camnet TV, but do not forget to join me tomorrow morning as I bring you another interesting topic with regard to some of the current political happenings that are happening in our beautiful country, Zambia. Do not forget to join me, but right about now, stay blessed and bye-bye.